Hey, Shalom. I'm Brother Jordan from Straitway Praiseland. The date is June 30th, 2024. And I'm making this video in regards of a lot of information that's been coming out about what it's like here at Straitway Praiseland underneath the leadership of Elder Kabeer. And I just wanted to talk about what it's like here. You guys may have heard that we only get $50 a month per person, and if we do something wrong on the community, that we are fined financially out of that $50 per person per month. Now, these things are true, and also you may have heard that we bow down to Elder Kabeer when we see him to greet him, and this is also true. But I wanted to talk about what you probably haven't heard. From the aspect of us being given $50 a month per person, it may not seem like a lot, but I have a whole list here of the things that we don't have to pay for out of that $50 a month per person. So for me and my family, it's me, my wife, and I have a son. So we get $150 per month per our family, right? Out of that, we have access to Netflix, Amazon, Apple TV, HBO Max. We don't have to pay for any of those subscriptions. I can go down in the theater anytime that I want and watch whatever shows that I want. We have an Xbox. I can go play games whenever I want to. We have a gym in the house that I don't have to pay for. I don't have a membership to go and work out. I can work out anytime that I want. We also have a gymnasium. I can play basketball. I can run around the gym. We have a pool. We have a hot tub. Those are things that I don't have to pay for. I've never had to pay for a phone bill. I've never had to pay for any sort of medical insurance or anything like that. Yeah, so people say that Elder Kabeer is maybe tyrannical or that the people here are being oppressed. I'm a witness. I've been here since 2018. And Elder Kabeer has shown nothing but love to me and to my family and to the brothers who lived here since I've been here. I've never seen anything that's wicked or that's wrong in really any way. And anytime that I've had a problem, I have never felt like I couldn't come to Elder Kabeer and talk to him about it. And you can call him and ask him. I've come to Elder Kabeer quite a few times about quite a few things. And most of the time, I'm just wrong. And there has been times where maybe I would have been right about a situation, but it's never been a situation where I felt like I'm being so oppressed, I'm not being heard, that I need to leave or I need to have somebody come and save me. So other things, that are paid for by the community is I run the business Royal Interiors here. We have a drywall and plaster business, right? So this truck that I'm sitting in is paid for by the community. The trailer that I take to work is paid for by the community. The boots and the work clothes that I wear is paid for by the community. I mean, I wear a $50 pair of pants to work, and when they get holes in them or something like that, I put it on an Amazon list, and Elder Kabeer buys us another pair. I could go right now to Rogan's Shoes and buy a $200 pair of boots, which I have a $200 pair of boots that I use, and I could just go with a community card and go and buy myself a pair of boots. Make sure Elder Kabeer gets the receipt. I don't see how that is oppression. I mean, other things within the community. I got married a few years ago. I didn't pay for anything when it came to the marriage. I didn't pay for my garment. I didn't pay for the food. I didn't pay for even making the cards that we sent out to people. I didn't pay for any of that out of my community allowance. So, I mean, when I look at my community allowance, it's really for things that Elder Kabeer doesn't necessarily need to micromanage for you to buy. Like, say I wanted to get my wife a new dress or something like that. I could use my allowance to get her a new dress. Or I wanted to get some new clothes for my son. I could do that. But the thing is we have food and we have raiment. And so it's very easy to be content here at Praiseland. I would say the biggest problem that we have here at Praiseland, or I guess the temptation that we have, is being content with the abundance of stuff that we have and being grateful for all of the blessings that Yah gives us, and not becoming so blessed that we forget about the Most High in himself. I mean, within this community, we have an abundance of food. I don't think I've ever had a time, maybe we had one time where there wasn't food in the fridge because of a miscommunication or whatever, but that was brought to Elder Kabeer, and he solved the problem immediately. We used to have a problem here before, a few years ago. The sisters used to make the brothers who would go to work, they would make them their lunches, right? And our problem is the sisters would be making us lunches and we wouldn't be eating the lunches. Our problem is that we don't have enough food and that we're starving here. The problem we've had is that we have too much food on our shelf, and then it gets bad, and then we got to throw it away. So it's kind of crazy to me, the things that people are saying. I mean, I have a son, right? So diapers, wipes, anything that has to do with my son's needs is paid for by the community. We have $1,000, I think it's over $1,000 for our stroller, paid for by the community. We have a crib, paid for by the community. I have a nice room. I have a really nice bed, paid for by the community. What are the other things that I have in here? We have a barbershop, right? All the stuff within the barbershop, paid for by the community. We have a brother Elijah. He cuts hair very, very nicely. He cuts I never pay for a haircut. I just go to Brother Elijah. Boom, he cuts the hair. Alcohol. We have a $300 a week budget for alcohol. The video got cut off, sorry. So I was saying, we have a $300 a week budget for alcohol. So, but with that, we're only allowed to drink 4 days out of the week. We're oppressed, aren't we? Some of these other things that I wanted to say on here too is, you know, when I first came into the community of Praiseland, I had terrible teeth, and I went to a doctor when I was still living in Illinois before I moved here, and they were pretty much saying, we're going to have to remove all your teeth. You're going to have dentures, X, Y, and Z, right? So Elder Kabeer gets wind of this information, and he's like, nah, you know, I wouldn't do that for myself, so I'm not going to do that for my brother. So he brings me to his dentist, which was a very good dentist. I think he's a dentist for a lot of the Green Bay Packer players, right? And so they did work on my teeth. It cost like $9,000 for me to get my teeth back to repair, and that was paid for by the community. And then I think I had an abscess tooth, and so then there had to be a little bit more work done. So it's been over $10,000 what the community has had to pay just to restore my teeth, to get them back to normal. And you know, at Praiseland here, like, I don't pay for my own soap. I don't pay for my toothpaste. Like, there's pretty much no need there is no need that isn't being met here at Praiseland. Everything that, all right, what I was saying is there is no need that is not getting met here at Straitway Praiseland. And as for the topic of bowing down to elder, and, you know, you see in the word that angels wouldn't even allow people to bow down to them. You know, nobody here is forced to pay obeisance to elder. Nobody. The reason why I do it is Elder Kabeer and TJ, they went to Nigeria. They came back. They went to Straitway, and I seen Elder Kabeer do it for Pastor Dowell. And so I said, okay, well, if he's going to do it for Pastor Dowell, I should do it for my elder. Let me just follow the lead of what my elder is doing. And it was already in my heart to do that anyways, because we see it in the word. I mean, when Moses went and he talked with his father-in-law, he went and paid obeisance. And when you look behind that word, it's bow down. So it's not some sort of foreign thing that, like, oh, you're bowing down to man and you're worshiping man. I'm not worshiping Elder Kabeer at all. I just respect him as being my elder. And I say within myself, if I can do this for Elder Kabeer, certainly I can do it for Jesus. And so I do it with a consciousness towards Jesus, you know. And I've heard that, you know, the ministry is leading towards making people slaves, and you're gonna see it, that these leaders, they just want people to be their slaves. And I'm sitting here thinking, like, okay, if this is slavery, and I read all the benefits of what I have here, like, that's some damn good slavery. One, I don't think that I'm Elder Kabeer's personal slave here. I mean, I've been here for a while. If I were to all of a sudden decide to leave, I don't think you'd be like, well, you know, we gave you your woman while you were here, and, you know, she's got to stay, and you got to go. You know, that's what the word says. You know, you were a slave and you came in, and then we gave you a woman, and now you have a woman and a child that belongs to me. I don't think that he would say that. And I don't even worry about him saying that, because I don't even think of ever leaving. You know what I'm saying? So to me, it's crazy. To me, it's just a whole bunch of nonsense, honestly. Especially what I've been hearing about this community. I mean, anybody who's been here, they know that, all the saints, nobody's underweight. My wife, when she first came here, she was 70 pounds. She was underweight. She was starving. And since she's been here, she's 130 pounds now. So if our needs aren't being met, you help me. You tell me what needs that I have that maybe I just don't see are being met, that aren't being met. Let me say this one last thing before I get off this video, because I think you're getting the point. But to anybody who says that I'm in an environment that is oppressive, that I have a tyrannical rule, that I'm eventually going to be forced to be a slave, that all I'm doing is I'm working so that way I can give them all the resources, so that way they can live high off the hog and, you know, I guess get breadcrumbs. Which another point on that aspect too. Okay, I told you that we get $50 a month per person, so I get $150, right? At the end of the year, like last year, at the end of the year, because we did so well with our business, we ended up getting a bonus. So I got like a $460. And so when all your needs are taken care of, your phone bill's taken care of, your gas, that's another thing I forgot to say. All the gas gets paid for. No matter if I go to the store or whatever. I'm not the one that's paying for the gas. So I'm not paying for gas, phone bill, the heating, electrical. I don't have any bills, and I don't have any debt. I came here with, I think, $1,000 worth of credit card debt, and the community paid for that. Elder Kabeer paid for that. And so I'm debt free. And so, you know, and all these things could be taken as well. Those are the carnal things. What about the spiritual oppression that's being happened here? I don't see that either. Everybody who's here, if they need deliverance tonight, it's available. I mean, the word's being preached, and I don't see the word being preached in a manipulative manner where, you know, like what the slave masters did to the slaves, and they only tell them certain parts of the word, and they don't want you to go back and look behind what they're saying, lest you find out that what they're telling you is just a manipulation tactic in order to keep you hardworking while you're working for them. This whole thing's crazy. But what I wanted to say was, if you think that it's oppressive here, and I read to you all those benefits, if you were to come and save me from this situation, if I went and lived with you, would my situation be better? Can you give me the same life that I have here where you're at? Or if I went back into the world, would my life be better than it is here? Because here, I would say the average person does not have $150 to spend on pretty much whatever they want at the end of the month. After they're done paying their car note that they're in loan to, their mortgage, all their insurance bills, their medical stuff, diapers, wipes, clothing for their child, and whatever else expense that an average person has to pay. I don't think they got just like all this cash laying around just to be able to use whatever they want. You know, and I hear other things too, like, well, what happens when we get land? Like, are you going to have, what's your inheritance? You know, my mindset, like, I'm not concerned about my inheritance here, because my inheritance is in New Jerusalem. I'm a citizen of that kingdom, and I'm going to get my inheritance when I go there. I'm just a stranger and a pilgrim here. I'm just passing through. This is just a testing ground. If I can do it here under these circumstances, I can submit unto somebody who's righteous and do what they tell me and submit. And I can have, I guess, some of my freedom, not necessarily be there where I don't get to be the man of my house, where I get to make the decisions of what kind of car I'm going to drive and what kind of house I'm going to live in. And I'm going to have this plot of land, and I'm going to give it to my seeds and their seeds, and I'm going to have this dynasty for myself. That's not what I'm looking for. My kingdom is not here. My kingdom is in the kingdom, with the king. That's what I'm searching for. That's what I'm seeking for. So while I'm here, my job here is just to learn sanctification and to be sanctified. And so if I'm in a certain situation where some of these benefits get taken away, it's just part of the sanctification process. Now, if I do see things start to go crazy where I see, some stuff like Jim Jones or Waco, or, where it's like, I know in Waco, the dude was sleeping with everybody's wife and convinced him he was the Lamb of Yah. That's not in the word. So if the leaders are doing things according to the word, and I can look at the word and I can back it up, and I don't see anything that they're doing where I can look at the word and say, the word says this and you're doing this, I'm fine with trusting in these people. I'm fine with trusting Pastor Dowell. I remember Jesus said that some guy came up to Jesus and he asked him, like, well, what's the work that we need to do the works of Yah? And Jesus says, this is the work of Yah, to believe in him who he has sent. And so I know Jesus was talking about himself at that point in time, but I also believe that Pastor Dowell has been sent, and he feeds us with knowledge and understanding. He feeds us the bread of life, which is, when you look at what Jesus was talking to that rabbi about, it was about the same type of thing. And they got offended because he was calling himself the bread of life. But then people get offended because Pastor Dowell was feeding us the bread of life and giving us the word of truth. But then they want to say Pastor Dowell is a tyrant. He's just manipulating you. He's just doing it in order so that way he can be a king and you all are going to be the servants. I don't even know what to say to that, honestly. Pastor Dowell has been nothing but righteous since I've been in this truth. He's helped me in tons of ways. And me and Pastor Dowell don't talk that much. I've probably had maybe an hour total conversation with Pastor Dowell. But I follow him because I see the fruits and the works that he has. I heard one thing too, that somebody said that, well, if you all of a sudden stop being a benefit to the community, then the community is just going to get rid of you. And my mindset is like, dang, didn't Jesus say that? Like, if you're a tree and you're not producing fruit, then what happens to you? If you're a branch and you're not producing fruit, what happens to you? So if I'm part of the body and I'm not producing fruit, why would y'all allow that branch to be there? That doesn't make any sense. He said you're going to cut that off, right? It's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. Yeah. I really don't have much more to say. I have food. I have raiment. I'm going to be content. And there's people out there who want to say that I'm not content, or that I shouldn't be content. They want to lure you through the lusts of the flesh by saying things like, well, it would be better if you were somewhere else. I don't think so. And I don't think that the people who are saying these things could give me a better life, or give me these same benefits, or give me the same freedom that I have here, or help me in deliverance in the same way that I've been helped here. Ridiculous.